hello, and happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, where we host our regularly scheduled Mom Live show. And I am so excited to have you here today. If you are joining us here live, go ahead and put hashtag live in the comments. And if you are joining by replay, of course, hashtag replay, and make sure that you are able to put in your comments, questions, and concerns, and we'll be sure to address them as we go. Well, today's topic is all about, you might have seen it as budgeting, but in order to get to a budget, you got to know certain things. And so what we're talking about today is your credit. We are talking about financial literacy, understanding your credit profile. And today we have a guest going over that with us. So before we get into that, let me just introduce myself. I am Rashida Green, the founder and CEO of Get Right Coaching and the host of this wonderful community, Mompreneur HQ, where we help women to start, grow, and scale virtual home-based businesses so that they can build the life of their dreams without neglecting themselves or their families in the process. We do that through courses, through coaching, and community. And we assist you from all levels of starting a business. But why passive? One of the things that I am passionate about is passive income, because as mompreneurs, we already have our time knotted up with being a mother, being a wife, being an employee, being, a mission in our ministries, and so many different things that we're already involved with. That time is generally fleeting, and we don't get a chance to get to all these things. And that includes sometimes our dreams, things that we want to do in life. But if you have a passive income, something that you can build once and not have to worry so much about, giving so much time to, something that you can work on 2 hours a week, just pumping in either the product or the marketing, that is something I think that is doable. And why not make money off of 2 hours a week's worth of work as a mompreneur, as a mom, and changing your status from CEO of the household to CEO of a business. So that's what we do here at Mompreneur HQ. We introduce people, topics from parenting, of course, to marketing and business alike. But we also provide a community where we encourage all of our women to talk and to engage, to ask questions, and to get to know the businesses and services of the people in the community. And one of these people in this community is Miss Letitia Eisler Morris. And she is our guest on today, who is going to be speaking to us about financial literacy. So without further ado, let's welcome Miss Letitia. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well, and yourself?
I'm fantastic.
Well, thank you for joining us today for our Financially Fit February, where we're talking about different topics regarding finances and moms and women and how we manage them. And so the topic that you have chose for today is something that we all need, because of the simple fact that every cash is king, sure, but credit is what we tend to use in those times when we need to. And sometimes just for the points, because those points on credit cards are awesome. And if you have the money to pay off the credit card as soon as you use it, or within 30 by the next billing cycle, then you're really just gaining points, spending money that you would have spent anyway. But that's getting ahead. Let's talk to you about what you do, and why. What is it? What is it that you do currently?
Well, currently I am employed at Bank of America. I'm actually an anti-money laundering investigator.
Ooh.
But it's through some life experiences that have led me down a path where I find it necessary to educate us. So us is all of us.
All right. Anti-money laundering. Wow. Investigators. So y'all better watch out. If you know a friend who ain't doing right, then she might find you. She might just find you.
Yep.
Um
Don't bank
if
with Bank of America.
Yeah, right, with Bank of America, she might find you. And Bank of America is one of the largest banks, right? So
Number
there are
two.
probably a lot of people who have BOA accounts. And actually, before I even get any further into that, I want to read a little bit about Miss Letitia. She was
Mhm.
born and raised in the Bronx, New York. She relocated to Buffalo, New York, where she attended the University at Buffalo and earned a Bachelor of Arts in Legal Studies. She eventually relocated to Charlotte, North Carolina after 20 years in 2005. And of course, she just mentioned she's currently employed at Bank of America as an anti money laundering investigator. And after being out of school for 10 years, power to you, my sister, because after 10 years, I was still not trying to go back. But after 10 years, she went back to school, y'all, and obtained a master's in business administration from Strayer University. But because of some potential conflicts working in the bank and giving particular advice in her job capacity, she kind of put off her financial literacy coaching business. But she is not a stranger to helping women and entrepreneurs in general, to serving them in ways that she can assist them with helping in financing, wealth building, and financial literacy. And that's how she ended up here with us today. She is a financial literacy coach for women and young adults who are attempting to navigate the world of finance alone. She helped them to establish or build credit, budget, and create attainable financial goals. So, although she's currently employed full time, she looks forward to one day serving those who need assistance in as a full time entrepreneur. So, again, this is Miss Letitia. We are so glad to have you. And when we invited you on, we knew that you already had some things that you had going on, but now you recently up leveled, correct?
Up
Yes.
level.
Yeah, up level. Got
Mhm.
we were talking about promotions, and Missy has had a recent promotion. So I want to congratulate you on that.
Thank
I
you,
know that
thank you,
you
thank you.
worked hard for it and you deserve it. Um, Now, we're not going to prolong this evening, but I definitely wanted to make sure that we let our people know who you are and what you do,
Mhm.
um, and the fact that you came to this space because of just experience and life experience, and you
Mhm.
didn't want other people to have to go through those challenges. So we thank you
Mhm.
for that. So at this time, we're going to invite you to share with our community
Mhm.
these financial literacy tips that you want to expose them to, or just enlighten them on regarding their credit profile.
Yes.
So take it
Yes.
away.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, ladies. So how what I want to start with is just a really snippet of my testimony and how I got into uh, financial literacy. Basically, it came out of necessity. I wanted to purchase a home. I was looking at my credit report and I saw some things on my credit report that just didn't quite add up. Uh, and these particular things were actually crippling to me, that they were major items that were impacting my ability to purchase a home. Specifically, they were student loans. So I know that is seems to be uh, uh, the one crippling thing for many people, especially women, is our student loan debts. If you know anything about how what gets factored into determining your ability to even get a mortgage is your debt to income ratio. So, Rashida mentioned earlier about cash being king. Cash is really not king because you could have all the money in the world, but if you go and you spend it, you no longer have it. Credit is ongoing. Credit will keep going, and credit credit will keep going when you don't even have the money right then and there.
That's true.
but it's important that the money come in at some point. But I know it's been our history that we tend to shy away from credit cards. We tend to shy away from credit. We want to, we like, oh, well, I have the cash, I'm just going to use the cash to purchase this, that, and other. uh, in some instances it can be a good thing, but in others it is not. And so what I want to share with you all really briefly is the importance of your credit report and your credit score. So clearly credit has been around way before many of us were born. However, I can tell you from my own personal experience in the 70s and the 80s, it did not appear to be a big factor. Um, and unfortunately, credit is not something that they teach in our schools. They don't teach you about how to obtain credit. They don't teach you what credit scores mean. They don't tell you who the credit bureaus are. They don't tell you anything about credit. Quick shout out to Junior Achievement, because Junior Achievement now has revamped their program where they actually do teach credit to middle school and high school students. And I'm happy to say I volunteer with Junior Achievement. So I'm excited about being able to teach our children. And believe it or not, our middle school children, they are hungry for credit. They want to know what it is and what it does and all that. So the best questions come out of our middle schoolers. But with that being said, again, I didn't know anything about credit. I didn't know anything about my credit score, and I'm sure many of you can agree that in college, they reached out to me and they was like, "Hey, we can give you a credit card for with a $600 was it credit limit." I'm like, "Oh, well, nobody told me that I got to, you got to make payments. That if you miss a payment, what that does to you." Look, I was like, "Oh, free money." Now, of course, now we know better than that. The problem, and I have to be grateful for like God's grace and mercy, because when I was just having fun with my credit card, the importance of my credit score and my credit report didn't really matter to me. It wasn't really impactful. Hey, I didn't even know it was there.
Right, me either.
Look, fast forward to a real adulthood. I now want to buy a house, but I got student loan debt. And so in looking at my credit report, I'm looking, and first of all, I know exactly what my student loans were for, but my student loans are now 10 times what I took out. So my first point is to dispute. It does not matter that it's yours. The reason why I advise you to dispute is because if there is any inaccuracy in what was reported to a credit bureau, by law, it must come off. And the law that states that has to happen is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So if they misspell your name, but you know that's you, it has to come off. If they transpose the numbers in your social security number, it has to come off. If they have you living at an address that you never lived at, but some kind of way it got linked to that student loan, it has to come off. So always dispute. The worst thing that can happen is that they're going to update it. But if there's something that cannot be verified or validated, guess what? It comes off. Now, I will tell people, because they tend to think if it's not there, then hey, I don't owe it anymore. That's not necessarily the case, because ultimately, if you have student loan debt, you do have to pay it. But the key is that now that it's not sitting on your credit report, it no longer impacts the things that you're trying to do.
Okay.
So ultimately, the goal is to get things removed off of your credit report. The other advice that I would give is having to do with collections. So I don't care what they call you and tell you. I don't care what they send you in the mail. A collection agency they are not the original owner of your debt. Your debt was sold to them. And so they're attempting to collect the debt. And so they're going to do whatever they think they can do in order to get it to collect on that debt.
Mm-hmm.
I advise, if the company is still in existence, go back to the original creditor and set up an arrangement. One thing you should know, that all these calls are recorded. So if you call your the original creditor, or even if you decide to have a conversation with the collection agency, if you suggest an amount, let's say, okay, well, they'll say, if you're ready, are you able to pay now? And then they ask you, how much can you pay? Search how much you can pay. So if you can only pay $25, tell them, well, I can pay you $25 a month. That's totally not what they want to hear, but they're not going to tell you no, because
Hmm.
those calls are recorded. And if they refuse an amount, they cancel that debt.
Oh.
So you stay in good standing because you're offering a payment. I'm willing to pay this. I'm not trying to run away from my debt. I want to be responsible, but let's be realistic here. I can't pay you everything that you're asking for right now. So I'm willing to offer you $25 a month for, to pay towards this debt. They're not going to be happy, but they got to take it.
Mm.
That's something that you can work into your budget.
That's right.
It is important that we view our credit reports. I say every 30 days. Reason being that in 30 days time, things update on your credit reports every 30 days. Someone can steal your identity in the span of 30 days. And if you take your time and don't look at it for 6 months, that means they don't have 6 months of fun with your identity.
That's true.
That's one of the primary reasons why you should check your credit report. If you know that you are in the process of let's say buying a home, or purchasing a car, what have you, you want to see who is submitting inquiries, because inquiries tend to work against you. The more inquiries there are, the more impact it is to your credit score. Why? Because when a financial institution is looking at your credit report and they see like 20 credit inquiries, that means that you apply for credit in 20 different places, and if you don't have trade lines that match all those inquiries, that means that's 20 no's. And then they want to know, why is there 20 no's? And nobody wants to be the first yes. So they're like, okay, well, if everybody else said no, we're going to say no too.
Mm.
So that's why inquiries tend to be a problem. However, if you one of the rules of thumb, if you're like, for example, if you are shopping for a mortgage, anything that you do related to, let's say, a mortgage or a car loan in the span of 30 days, that's one inquiry. It's not an inquiry after inquiry after inquiry. Once you go outside of that 30-day window, then it becomes a brand new inquiry. But if you're not paying attention and watching what's happening on your credit report, you tend to miss those things. You can dispute inquiries. So no, you can dispute inquiries, and you can get inquiries taken off of your credit report. I wanted to point out, if anybody didn't know about the things that go into creating your credit score. So the very first thing is your credit payment history. That is 35% of your credit score.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, long as you're making on-time payments, it's a beautiful thing. One 30-day late. So we'll use a mortgage, because this didn't happen to me, but I know someone who I was assisting this happened to. One 30-day late on his mortgage knocked his credit score down 100 points,
What?
because your mortgage is your largest debt. And if you're going to be careless enough to miss a mortgage payment, that's like, how are you not securing the roof over your head? So it tends to be a rather significant hit. But they tend to range between 30 to 100 points, depending on what the item is. Sometimes, like auto loans, they may not be that high, but they're gonna be high. So the key is to avoid a 30-day late. Anything that you have that you're making payments on, and it's hitting your credit report, those, you want to make sure that those are the first things you pay. Everything else, like your utility bills, that doesn't appear on your credit report, though you want to pay those. But
Mhm.
things that hit your credit report, always try to pay those things off first. The other thing is length of credit history. So you know how some people, they're working on their credit, working on budgets and what have you, and they want to pay a credit card down to zero, and then they want to get rid of the card and close the account. The worst thing you could ever do is to close an account, because when you close an account, that snatches the history away. And
Uh,
so when a creditor is looking at you, they want to see how long have people been extending credit to you. If you close an account, you took away that history, so that drops that history down. So some places they look at well, wow, she's been receiving credit from various places for the past 20 years, and she's in good standing. Okay, so she's a good credit risk. But
right.
if you close something and you snatch it, you drop your history down to 5 years. They're like, man, this person has only been receiving credit for 5 years. Okay, well, we don't want to be the first again.
Or
um,
if they're not the first, their interest rates may be higher.
right. That's the other thing. It
It's
impact
going
it
to
impacts
perceive
your
risk.
interest rate. But ultimately, all of it is really all is a risk rating. So like that same risk rating is used with an employer. So it used to be a time that employers didn't pull credit when considering you for hire. Oh, they pull credit now because they want to see what you're doing with your money. Your credit report acts as like a financial report card. If you have a lot of debt, your employer is thinking, okay, this person is not good with money. They're gonna have some struggles. How is that going to potentially impact my company? Well, some people would say, well, I need a job in order to, pay my debt. They go hand in hand, because ultimately people are looking at what does your level of responsibility look like? How do you manage your money? Are you just you just robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you now want to use this employee to do that? It didn't always used to be like that, but unfortunately now things that isn't that your credit report impacts employment. Also, like car insurance.
Crazy.
Car insurance is a risk rating. So
Mhm.
again, your car insurance company looks to see what your risk rating looks like. And that's how they will determine either one, they're going to give you insurance, or two, they're going to give you a really high um, premium. So this credit thing, as much as you might want to get away from it and make cash king, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Wow. That's some good stuff. Thank you so much for clearing that up and giving us perspective on cash and credit. Because that, at the end of the day, a lot of people do have especially with what's his name, financial peace.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh,
Ramsey is a
Dave
cash guy,
Ramsey. Mm-hmm.
cash guy, and
Mm-hmm.
credit cards is a no-no. But
Mm-hmm.
then there are those who understand credit and who know the power of credit. And even if you do have
Mm-hmm.
the cash, why credit might be the best thing to put forward first.
Mm-hmm.
So that was awesome. Thank you for those tips on
Mm-hmm.
um, just making sure that we review our credit score, our credit information, credit profile regularly. Dispute anything that doesn't look right. It's because you might just, you know, if they do update it, that's great, but
Mm-hmm.
and you still keep the debt, it's no big deal. But if they don't and it's wiped out altogether, that's even better. And then also, when you having those collections conversations, I was always told, don't even admit to nothing, don't say nothing, because if they confirm it's you, they can't collect the money, right? So, but I did appreciate what you said about at least putting forward a settlement, a payment, because there is some integrity in that, because you created the debt,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas collections, you trying to dodge it and not pay it at
Right.
all. But in being integritous and knowing that you did create the debt, going ahead and taking the necessary steps to make a payment plan that you can afford so
Yes.
that you can clear up that debt. That was
Mhm.
awesome. Thank you so
Mhm.
much
You're welcome. You're welcome.
for that. Guys, if you had any questions before we wrap up, go ahead and put them in the comments. But of course, if you're watching the replay and you don't have time or you're live and don't have time to ask the questions now, put the comments in the comment field. As I mentioned, Letitia is a part of the community. So if you have any questions regarding credit and knowing your credit profile, she's in the community. She can answer your questions. So again, thank you. I have a little thing that I do, and I call it Mama's Jam because basically just want to know what Mama like. We want to know what Mama like, and so we
Mm.
just ask you 3 questions and sort of like a this or that, and you just tell us which one is your favorite. So we
Okay.
always ask the general one: tea or coffee?
Coffee. Coffee all day.
Coffee all day. Oh
Mhm.
Lord, so you keep your energy. Keep caffeinated. Okay, and beach. How about we say beach or snow?
Oof, beach.
Beach. Of course. Like that's no who wants that. I mean, coming from Buffalo, New York, you didn't had your fair share, right?
Mm. If I never see snow again, I'm all right with it.
I know that's right. Um top I was about to say top off, but yeah, how about that? Top or top down, a convertible, top down or top up?
Well, it's a convertible. It should be top down.
That's why you bought it, right?
Right. Yeah, that was
I mean,
easy.
hey, some people get it and then they'll be like, "Oh no, the rain gets
My
in and then
my hair.
who knows? My hair's right. I don't want my hair blowing. Who knows?
And you didn't
You
want
want
a
your
convertible.
hair.
Right.
Oh. We do have a question from a Facebook user asking about building credit for your business. Um, that's we're talking about for your personal. Your business credit is a whole nother conversation. Tisha, if you had
Beast.
something that you wanted to quickly interject, feel free. But
Mm.
I think that that's going to be a whole nother topic, and we can definitely get in it though. Stick with us
Mhm.
because we definitely going to get into building business credit. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Anything
can
you
I can answer I can answer that on on the sidebar, like in the chat. But yeah, it's there's some overlaps.
definitely some overlap. But yeah, I think we definitely going to have a conversation about building credit, business credit,
Mhm. Right.
because that is definitely huge and it's something that I missed coming starting several
Mhm.
businesses and totally did not know anything about
Mhm.
business credit until the fourth go
Mhm.
round. So
Mhm.
yeah, we'll definitely talk about
Mhm.
that more in the
Mhm.
community. But
Right,
I
yeah.
just want to thank you all.
You want to treat your business as a separate entity from yourself. They cannot marry.
Absolutely. They are
Mhm.
independent. And we talked about that. The live may still be up on my when I was doing business basics and we talked about credit and protecting the veil.
Mhm.
Because that's one of the legal terms, the veil for business credit, and making sure that you have a veil over your business funds. A veil, meaning no interactions, intermingling, commingling, any of
Mhm.
that. The court can say, "Oh, you was mixing up funds, so guess what? Now you're going to be responsible for
Mhm.
any business debt incurred." Whereas if you
Good.
keep your business separate, your business credit and your personal credit be 2 separate things. They can,
That's
if
right.
something happens with your business, they cannot sue you for your personal home. They can only
Mhm.
sue you for what the business has. So
Mhm.
again, this topic is huge, and we did
Yes.
a little snippet. If you're in the group, go back to
Mhm.
the business basics. They were the like short um 10-minute sessions that I was doing at the beginning, at the towards the middle of January. So go check
Mhm.
those out. We'll definitely be talking about that more in the community because
Mhm.
it's a good, juicy topic. All right. So again,
Mhm.
thank you so much for joining us, Letitia. For those in the
Mhm.
Mompreneur HQ family, make sure you put your comments in the comment field so we can address your concerns. And we will be back again next week talking about another financially fit February topic. So stay tuned. And if you see the invites, make sure you go ahead, the event invites, make sure you go ahead and register so that way you get a notification when we're going live. And I think that's it for us today. If you want to have a consultation with me regarding any of the things that we talked about today, as well as how to get started in your own business, definitely check us out. Schedule a call at www.themompreneurhq.com/clarity-call, and we'll be glad to have that conversation with you and see if we're a good fit to work together. Until next time.